Smells good in here. Look at you.
What's up with you Belmont girls? You guys are hot girls.
Oh yeah, we're known for our good looks around those parts.
So, growing up in Belmont, I mean, now people know you nationwide.
It's pretty trippy. I mean, you know, Belmont's tiny, so and growing up, I certainly never thought that I would be on TV. So that's cool.
They got that super Walmart over there now.
I know we're moving up in the world.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, they didn't even serve alcohol. It was illegal.
Did you ship it in personally?
Yeah, I was a bootlegger when I was 12. I was like, come to my basement. I got some booze for everybody. I was real popular.
Growing up, you know, in Charlotte, we kind of do make fun of Belmont.
I know that we were talking about it earlier. That us Belmont folks, we do our own thing.
Do you feel like you're cheating on Belmont if you're making fun of them though?
A little bit, but see, I make fun of myself as a Belmont person and as a Southern person on stage. So, I feel like the Belmont folks have a good sense of humor. So if I can laugh at myself, they can laugh at themselves too.
But your Southernism is authentic, which is the reason why I love you so much, because you are what we live every day.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I mean, that's the thing I feel like that resonates with people in LA is that I'm not trying to. I moved to LA 11 years ago, and I did not try to change. I was like, this is who I am. This is my accent. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not going to all of a sudden, try to be sophisticated by any means. So I'm just kind of doing my thing. And, in the bigger cities, they're not used to people with manners or like, being nice or just personable. They're like, oh, what does this person want? They're just talking to me. I'm like, that's just what I do.
Where in LA did you probably feel the biggest shock? Probably down there by Beverly Hills, or?
I mean, Beverly Hills definitely is another world because it's just like, every car is like some Lamborghini or it's very high end and a little too hoity-toity for me.
You ever been over there to Casey Kasem's store with his wife?
I haven't, no.
Like a baby store.
How funny. No, my first experience in Beverly Hills, they took me to one of those fancy salons. And for anybody who knows what I look like, my hair is like huge and curly and like just, it's not great. I'll tell you that. So they had me go to this fancy salon where this French guy, like straightened my hair out and cut it and put like red streaks in it. I'm like, this is the worst. And it was like a $300 haircut for him to just destroy my hair.
That would never work at Eastridge Mall.
No. See, I would rather go to Eastridge Mall. They'd hook me up. I'm a Supercuts girl. Like, $18 haircut, sign me up.
Do you find yourself moving back in this area? I mean, it seems like every rock star is, so what's keeping you from coming here?
I know. We'll see. I work full-time at Chelsea lately. I'm a full-time writer.
You say you're working full-time?
I wish. I get some free food. No, I write there full-time, so it's kind of where I have to be. I've been on Chelsea's show for 2.5 years now, so... but I don't blame him because, like, in LA to buy like a tiny little 2-bedroom house is like $1 million. Here, that'll get you a mansion. So I'd certainly move back if I didn't have ties to LA.
Do you think Chelsea would get mad at me if I said that I don't watch it for her, but I actually watch it for you? I really do.
Well, I appreciate it.
Always on the freaking edge.
Yeah. Well, I'm not afraid to take a risk and just, I like the sillier the better, and so. She lets me do my thing, which I love. She's just like, I said the other day, I want to write a So You Think You Can Dance sketch where I wear spandex. She's like, all right, go for it. And that's awesome, to have a boss that's just like, just do it. So I think she'd be all right if you told her that. She'd roll her eyes and just be like, oh, Fortune.
When you talk about writing and stuff, you're talking about my passion. How many personalities do you go through while you're writing?
It's all about observing like real people, because I went to the Groundlings, which is a big sketch comedy school. So they want everything grounded in reality. So I'll sit on a park bench and just like see some person with like a weird quirk, and I'll turn it into some character. I'll be like, oh, that's a character who like has a fanny pack and hunches over a little bit or something like that. So you definitely go through a lot of personalities.
You got big honking sunglasses on so people don't feel like that you're watching them.
Exactly. I know. I've gotten called a few times where people are like, well, who's that creepy girl on a park bench? Because she's certainly not working out.
They still got Krispy Kreme out there in LA?
They do. I mean, not as prevalent as out here.
Yeah.
when I was in college over in Raleigh, there was a Krispy Kreme right by where I played tennis, I believe it or not, and right where we worked out. So we'd have to run every day and smell Krispy Kreme, which was a curse and a blessing.
Yeah, did you ever do the Krispy Kreme that was on Independence over here at Pecan?
No, I didn't.
That thing would be open like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Hot donuts now.
Yeah, oh my, and that was the only food available.
Yeah.
And you could never stop at one.
That's
the most you've ever done.
I mean, that's the problem when they're hot. Probably 4, which isn't even that. I mean, as a big girl, I should eat way more than that. But 4 is pretty intense. Because they're so that glaze is so intense itself. You're just like, I shouldn't be doing this, but it's amazing.
But who needs a 5-hour or a Red Bull when you just need a Krispy Kreme?
I know, that'll wake you up immediately.
Did you ever do Jolt Cola or anything like that?
No, that's a little too intense for me.
Oh my God. Where do you get your energy then?
I'm high on life and spreading the word. That's I'm such a dork. I don't do drugs. I'm just a happy person.
I almost felt like you should become a Southern preacher now.
I know, right? Amen. Can I get an amen? Everybody bring your hands together. This is for the Lord.
Have you being with family and stuff like that still in Belmont, have they talked about the big industrial churches that have invaded your town, like Elevation?
Oh, man. I mean, even growing up, there's a church on every corner, which is still the case. But, those big stadium-like churches are insane. I mean, to each their own. If that's what, what makes people happy, go for it. But it's definitely different because I'm used to church being in such an intimate setting where it feels very sacred because you're in this little church, and then now you have people with microphones and slideshows. You're like, this is different.
Yeah. So when do you start making the transfer to primetime television, or is that even an interest to you?
Well, I mean, I hope to eventually do that. I had written a sitcom that I sold to ABC, and I was really hoping, that would be the perfect way to start, doing more acting. And it ended up not moving forward, but just it was my first time out, and to sell it to a network was really cool. And so, we're going to try to resell it to cable. And so, who knows? But that's the goal. Yeah, for sure.
They seem to be the place that's taking chances.
TBS, FX, all these people, they're branching out, whereas the networks are still behind the times. And they're wondering, why people are going to all these cable shows. And it's just because you get more freedom. And so I'm excited because ultimately I do want to be in front of the camera and act and, do things like that. And I was really excited about this show because it was about I made it up that it was about a furniture store in North Carolina. So it was gonna be, I was looking forward to dipping into my roots and exploring that world. So it's not completely dead yet, but we'll see if there's a home for it at cable.
So if Hulu came up to you and said, I need something, but we're gonna have to charge people, I mean, is it all out? I mean, you're from Belmont. I mean, that's usually what we can afford. 5
I know. You know what? I'll take whatever I can get. Give me a 6-pack and you can watch my show.
What was it like growing up with you?
Everyone thinks, because when they see me on the show, I'm very high energy and I'm low energy in a way and high energy in another way. And so they think I'm just bouncing off the walls my whole life. But actually I was pretty tame. I was not exciting at all. I was just a regular kid who would hear jokes at school and tell them to my parents. But I was by no means considered no one would pointed at me and was oh, she's going to make it, But as I got older, I think my confidence grew. And, when you grow up as a big girl, you learn to put your stock in other things, like your personality. So I developed that a lot, more than I did anything else. So.
Did you ever sneak beer or anything down there at Daniel Stowe Botanical Garden? Because it's so close back there.
I know, right? I mean, what? There's no other way to look at plants than to have a beer or a 40 ounce with you.
I mean, that whole area, 274 and everything back there's man,
well, there's nothing there. I mean, it's just all orchids and roses. What else are you supposed to do? As long as you don't drink and drive, go enjoy a good orchid in a 40 ounce.
Did you really look at the pictures of Lindsay Lohan to come up with those lines that you did? I literally spit everything out of my mouth when you went into that line.
Oh, I mean, have to read pop culture all day, every day. So I did. I mean, I feel like I know more about Lindsay Lohan than I know about like my own family members. It's very creepy. But I'm like, I wish I had as much knowledge about other things as I did pop culture. I would be a genius. Right. But, it pays the bills.
Now, in radio, we have maybe 7 to 14 seconds with a listener. What as somebody who's up on that stage, what is your time limit?
I mean, luckily now with the show, a lot of the people that come to the shows, they've already watched Chelsea Lately, so I don't have to win them over quite as much, which is such a blessing for me. I think I don't look like a lot of people. Like, I look different. I'm a bigger girl. I'm stout. I'm got this big curly hair. I have this strong Southern accent. So I feel like immediately, just from my look alone, people are like, oh, she's different. We haven't seen this before. And so there's something about that people want to stick around to see what I have to say. And, I usually point at my vagina or something ridiculous. And that usually seals the deal. They're like, all right, I'm in. Or they can't look me in the eye, one of the two.
You look out there at the guys that are out there with their arms crossed and go, dude, I can just go out there and kick your ass right now.
Well, yeah, because, a lot of guys come to the show because they got dragged there by their girlfriends or wives or whatever. They're like, oh, it's another, woman comic. And then once they're there, like, it's the guys that pipe up and are like all into it. All of a sudden, they're almost more into it than the girls are. So I do feel like I try to provide something for everybody.
Are you saying that you're bringing out the feminine side of
Oh,
the client?
oh yeah. They're like weirdly attracted to me, and they can't figure out why. They're like, I shouldn't be feeling this way, but she's just got something.
Where did you spend most of your time growing up? Did you honk your way into Charlotte, or did you go to Gastonia?
I hung around Belmont.
Really?
I know I didn't venture out like I should. I mean, we're kind of like an island almost, like not literally, but we don't venture out a lot. So I would go to Charlotte from time to time to like, for a special, like a Hornets game back in the day or something like that. In Gastonia, we would go to eat at the nicer restaurants, a.k.a. Chili's. Those were our nice restaurants.
Riverview Inn? Did you cross the river to get to
I did. I went Riverview Inn. Back when the ranch house was here, we used to go there. So, I was old school, though. We just drove up and down the street, Main Street, and...
Did you ever skinny dip in the Catawba?
This is not a skinny dipping body. Look at this. even back then, I was like, there's one thing I'm not going to touch, and that's skinny dipping or streaking. I mean, that's just a surefire way to get arrested. Hot girl streaks, everybody's like, high five. Big girl does it. They're like, put her in the jail.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh, we're not having that.
It's kind of weird to drive down Wilkinson Boulevard now, and they're rebuilding all those places that used to be little $6 hotels.
I know, yeah. Because now everything, it's all about land, and they're trying to develop everything.
So are you going to come back and buy Belmont? Famous people do that.
They do that. Didn't Jeff Foxworthy did that to a lot of Georgia? I'm not quite there yet. I haven't even bought any property in LA. So once I can establish myself out there, then maybe I'll come buy some stuff up in Belmont.
Now, Pam Stone had a great time out in LA. She had to come back to the Carolinas. Do you find yourself getting to that point with comedy where it's like, I love doing this, but I really do have to come back?
I, for whatever reason, I just always gravitated towards big cities, and I love warm weather. I don't like cold. I do miss the season sometimes, but for me, LA is home now. I mean, I love coming back. I'm glad my family still lives here, and I love, I go straight to Bojangles as soon as I, get off the plane. And I like the small town, supportive, everyone's nice, and so it's a good refresher. But I don't think I'm gonna ever move back. But I'll definitely, I hope as I get older, can buy some property here and spend longer chunks of time, because you just need that. You just LA's so crazy that you do need to just give your soul a minute to have some rest.
Do you ever wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and go, it's bow time?
I do. I break into cold sweats, and I'm like, I need honey mustard and fried chicken, stat. And anybody I meet in LA who's from North Carolina, we immediately are like, Bojangles. Yes. I don't know. I'm so obsessed with it.
You do the pork chop sandwich, or you stick with the
Chicken biscuit all the way. Yeah. Wow. Chicken biscuit.
John Boy and Billy down there, man. They're always doing that damn Bojangles.
You know, it's us big people. We, we got to stick together. Fried chicken all the way.
What about barbecue?
I like barbecue.
Sunnies, or do you like to really break out from the?
No, I like Sunnies. I mean, I love Barbecue King. That
over there.
Yeah,
that's legendary.
oh yeah. I mean, we've been going there since I was little. So my family's like been in Belmont, like 5 generations. So we're like the old school Charlotte restaurants are what they're into.
Barbecue King is like, man, you can have like sauce all over your lips, and you're wearing it with pride.
That's right. You're like, guess what I just ate? Barbecue King. It's on my face.
They got a Super Walmart over there too.
I know. They're ballers as well.
I mean, if your career starts crashing, just get a Super Walmart.
I'm not above greeting people at Walmart. I would be a delightful greeter. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Walmart. Get your shop on.
Jimmy Kimmel or Fallon. If it really nighttime TV gets back to that again, where you got to make a choice, who do you go to?
I mean, I like them both a lot, but I love Fallon. I mean, I just feel like he's an SNL guy, and I come from a sketch background, so and I watch his sketches, and they're so clever, and he's just a likable guy. Not that Jimmy's not. But there's something about Fallon. I'm like, he's really got this late night thing down.
Now, what keeps you from doing parody songs? Because you speak really well in tune.
Well, I actually am a pretty decent karaoke singer. I don't want to toot my karaoke horn, but I don't know. When it comes to singing, it's the one place I get a little stage fright. Like I can perform, comedy all day long, but you make me start singing, and I'm like sweating bullets. I don't know what it is, but I play a little guitar, so I wish I could, make myself sit down and explore that a little more.
You've got flavored vodka now that kind of just relaxes.
There you go. I mean, I need to do that, just start drinking. But, I mean, it would. I see some, really funny people with guitars and songs, and I'm like, that'd be really cool to, like, incorporate that. I just haven't, made myself go down that road. But I should, and maybe you'll be the one that pushes me towards that.
Go.
That's right. This was like serendipitous.
So last week was home week on American Idol. When you come back to Belmont, do you feel the same way? Do you drive around town going, "There's my skin"?
I wish it were quite like as exciting as American Idol, because they get like parades and stuff, and like keys to the city, and they're like cutting ribbons and holding babies, and I come home and I'm like having to call my mom to come pick me up because I don't have a car. I mean, it's not the same. I'm like, Mom, I don't. Can you pick? I'm gonna be out a little late tonight. Can you leave a key under the door? I mean, it's awful. It's like these American Idol people rolling around in Escalades, and I'm like, Mom, I need a ride. It's not. So I haven't quite gotten that glory yet.
If they did give you a key to any place in Belmont, what door would you open?
Oh, well, obviously Bojangles. Like, don't make me wait for it.
You want to pick up Belmont Abbey?
Yeah. Just walk right in. They'll be like, "What are you doing here?" "I got a key. Get out of my way. Give me a chicken biscuit."
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
There you go. Fortune Feimster. Unplugged and totally uncut. Catch her at the Comedy Zone this weekend. CLTComedyZone.com. That's CLTComedyZone.com.